recording. So hopefully y'all can see my document cam. I'm gonna write a few things on the board for you, or on the document cam. One, technically we are done. The only thing left is Unit 3, which I told y'all you were on autopilot. And I've already got some people asking me to go over 8.1 and 8.2. So I'm going to cover this today. I'm going to cover what I can today and Friday of 8.1 and 8.2. But I will cover Unit 3 until I don't get any questions. Okay? Because, like I said, I don't want to insult your intelligence. Some of it's pretty simple, some of it's not. But we will go over it until y'all tell me that y'all are done. Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and Unit 4 test. Mr. Yap, or one of y'all tell me when is Unit 4 due? Can one of y'all tell me? Do y'all know? Well, I know that Unit 3 is due on the last day of class, which is the 21st. So January, February, March, April 4, 21 is when that's due. Okay, these are already done. And I don't know when it's due. I think it's due like the 10th. If somebody can verify that, either the 8th or the 10th.
Yes, sir. It says that chapters 11 and 12 are due on 4/6/2020.
Which one, Unit 4?
That would be chapters 11 and 12, correct, sir?
Yeah. It's due on the what?
So, on the 6th, sir.
Okay, so it's already due. Okay. I didn't know it was already done. Okay. So that means everybody should be working on that one, and it will be due on the 21st. So from now until the 21st, I will be working on questions that y'all send me. If you don't send me questions, I'm going to give it till Friday. And if you send questions on Friday, then I'll keep going for Monday. If I don't get questions on Friday, then that means y'all are good. So the squeaky door gets grease on this one. The only thing left after that is the final exam. And I did hit record. Yes, I did. The final exam will be due on the 28th. I will start it as I started, well, last day of class on 4/21. Okay, the final exam, you'll have 2 attempts. Of course, takes the higher of the 2. Usually I put 30 questions. Sometimes I'll put 25. Let me just redo that. Sometimes I'll put 25, sometimes I'll put 33, and every now and then I might put 40. So I have no idea which one I've done, but it's one of those 3. Test questions, or the exam questions, are coming from your old test. So make sure you go to Gradebook and go to Test and hit the review link on whichever test you want to review. And you can go through and review your tests. So we got 7 days to take the final, 2 attempts. Usually it's going to be one of these 3. Gradebook, if you want to review, go back and do test, hit the test button, and click on the review, whichever one you want to review. And there was one more, 2 hours. You have 2 hours to take the final exam. Now, after you have done your homework which is 20% of your grade, and you've done all of your tests, and that's Unit 2, there's two. There's an A and a B graphing. Okay? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 6 tests is going to be 80% of your test, of your grade. So after you've turned in everything, and we're going to write that down here in just a minute, because I don't want somebody to send me a DA email. When you have completed everything, okay, that includes you've done all the homework that you can do, you've done all the unit tests that you can do, and you've done the final exam. When you've done all 3 of those things, when you've done everything and you can't go back and fix it, that's when you go to your grade book and you hit final grade. And whatever that final grade is, that's your grade. Okay? Now, there's something else I will be doing during this week, during this final exam week. During this final exam week, I'll be going in and putting zeros in for incomplete grades. I'll be assigning zeros. Now this is your bonus question. What happens if you didn't do 3.2 or 5.6 or 8.2 homework? Well, what happens? What does the bonus question say? If you don't do the assignment, what do you get?
A 0.
You get a 0. And that 0 makes your grade decrease. Okay? There's 5 or 6 bonus questions that address assigning zeros. So when you assign that 0, that means that your grade is going to go down. If you haven't missed any assignments and you don't have anything to worry about. Okay? So that's what's going to happen the last couple of weeks of class. Let's go over it again. As far as teaching new material, we're done. The only thing we've got left is whatever y'all send me questions on in Unit 3. And so far, I'm going to go over 8.1 and 8.2, either today or Friday. If I don't receive anything after that, then I'm going to say we're done. The Unit 1 and Unit 2 test, they're already passed and gone. The Unit 3 test finished on the 6th. And this one stops on the 21st. Your homework is 20% of your grade. These 6 tests are 80% of your grade. The final exam will start on the 21st and will end on the 28th. That gives you 7 days. You have 2 attempts, takes the higher of the 2. You'll have 25, 33, or 40 questions. If you want to go back and look over your your unit test, then hit grade book, click on the assignment and hit test, and then click on the review on each one if you want to review each one. And you'll have 2 hours to take the test. When you have completed everything, unit, test, homework, and the final exam, you click on grade book and you click on final grade, and it'll give you a grade. If it's a 80 to a 90 or 80 to 89.48 or 45, then you will get a B. If it's a 90 to whatever, to 100 to infinity, you get an A. If it's a 70 to 79.45, then you get a C. I do not entertain extra point questions. Why? Because you've had plenty of time to address extra points with doing the test. If you didn't like the grade before, you had 2 other chances to take the test, and you have bonus questions on each test. So, who's got questions on the next week of class? Next or last week, couple of weeks of class? Let me turn off the video so that will help with the bandwidth. Okay, so let's go to, let me kind of turn on the PowerPoint. And talk about points, lines, and angles. Now, I'm going to skip over kind of the introductory part because I think y'all know what lines are, okay? A point, line, and a plane are 3 basic terms, not given. A line is a set of points, okay? Let me go do this. It's a whole lot easier if I do this. I like to talk about lines in the following way. Okay, it's all how point of view. There's your eyeball. Okay, if you look at something, depending on how you look at it, depends on what your brain perceives as there. Let's say I look at I see a point. Well, in one aspect, you see a point. Okay, you're looking at that, but it could be the end of a rod. Think of a baseball or a baseball bat. You're looking at one end of a baseball, you see a dot, baseball bat. When actually, if you come over here and you look at it this way, it's a long rod. Same thing with a point in space. You can look at a point and you see a point, but actually, if you look at it from this direction, it's not a point, it's the actual what? A line. So one of the things you have to do when you're talking about lines and angles and stuff like that is you have to think about what dimension you're in, okay? This is the first dimension. You're looking at it in terms of just a what? Just one dot. Where this is the second dimension, meaning that you have a dot and you have a length, okay? You have one dimension and you have another one. And then, of course, you could also look from, there's this dimension, and then you could look from this dimension, got my, like that, and then you could look from this dimension above it, like the way a bird flies, and it not be a line, but a what? A plane. Think of a window pane, like a part of a window that goes in your house. Okay, so this way, all I see is a point. And then this way, I see a line. And if I look at it from the top, I could see like a window pane, which is called a plane. A plane has length, width, and height. Well, we'll get into that later. Okay? So, you got different ways to look at stuff. So, that's what a point is. This is a line. This is a plane. If I add another dimension, I've got something totally different now. I've got a box. So that's another dimension I can add to it. So with that being said, let's go back to the slides, because I like to use those. I like to use that before we go into the slides. And that's the line is a set of points, any two distinct points determining a unique line. I forgot one other thing. you can actually take the intersection of two planes. Let's say this plane looks like this. And I had a plane that looks like that. So you have two planes, one's red and one's black. The intersection of those two planes, if I look at it from this direction, it looks like this. Two lines intersecting at a point that forms an angle. Okay? If I look at it from this direction, if I look at it from that direction, it looks like a rectangle, a bright rectangle, and a red. So depending on how you're looking at the two planes, you could have two lines that form an angle, or you can just have two rectangles or two squares laying side by side. Depends on how you're looking at it. Think of it like a tabletop. You look at a tabletop, you're even with the tabletop, you see just the side of the table. But when you look up and you look above the table, you see an actual tabletop. So everything's how you look at it. Now I can go back to the PowerPoint. And that's where these things come from. A line, that's the end of a point. That's what makes up a point is the end of the line, depending on how you look at it. A ray is half a line, and a line segment has ends. I'm going to show you those right next. There's your line. There's a ray. There's a ray. Ray, it has a terminated end, which means that it stops. And it has a non-terminated end, which means there's an arrowhead. And then you have a line segment, which has two terminating spots. And a line never stops. It keeps going. And this is your nomenclature for writing it math-wise. The termination on a ray, the termination letter comes first. B, A, B. The terminal side, which means the side that terminates, it goes first. Plane is like a window pane. There's a plane right there. Now you can turn this to the side and it would look like a line. Think of it as a tabletop. Right now, we're looking at the tabletop from above the table. Again, we're looking at a tabletop and we're above the table and we've basically got two pieces of spaghetti laying on the table. Okay? Two lines in the same plane that do not intersect are called parallel lines. Y'all know that. Okay? Think of this as a tablecloth. You got an orange tablecloth or a salmon tablecloth, and you got a turquoise tablecloth. You can put that. You can take those tablecloths and you can lay them any way you want to on that table, and make different shapes using the tablecloths by laying one on top of the other. There's what happens when you turn it to the side. Okay? Remember me telling you that you see two rectangles? Well, if I was looking from this direction, I would just see a salmon and a green rectangle. But since I'm turning it in this direction, I see two lines intersecting at a point if I was looking from this direction. And that would be angles. This, I'm looking at it from up in this area. I'm looking at it down like this, only from where you're looking at it from your chair, and you're looking down at about a 45-degree angle, and that's why you see the lines and you see the planes. So if you put it about a 45-degree angle, you can see everything. Now, what does all this mean? Well, it means that you need to measure. What we're going to be doing, and I'm going to pull up what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at what happens when you're looking at the two planes from the side like that. Okay, so let me draw in the planes so you can see. There's one plane, and then this plane like this. There's another plane, and then I'll do the other one in green, and it looks like that. And I'll just there. Now, if you notice the red area, the red right here, the side we're looking at it from this way. And we're not looking at planes. We're looking at three or one or two lines. There. We're looking at those two red lines. And this forms an angle. And this forms an angle. I'm sorry. That forms an angle. Now, if we were looking at it from a 45-degree angle, say like up in here, we would see these planes. Okay? So it's all how you look at something. We're going to be looking at these red lines right here. That's what we're going to be looking at. Now this is a plane that has 3 dimensions. Remember me drawing that red dimension and saying it had that 3rd dimension? Well, that's what happens. You have a plane that's going in 3 dimensions. Height, length, width. And this is what you call a cube. Okay? The pink and the blue, they're parallel planes because they don't intersect. They keep going forever and ever. Angles is what happens when you intersect 2 planes. If you're looking at it from a 45-degree angle, it looks like you're intersecting 2 planes. If you look at it from the side, you look like you're intersecting 2 lines. And that's what it looks like. So if I was to go up here and look at the angle from up here like that, I would be able to see a terminal. I would be able to see a plane here and a plane here, but you can't because you're looking at it from 90 degrees from the plane. Again, I hate to keep showing you, you're looking at this red line right here. You're looking from this side. Think of it as a lounge chair. This looks like a lounge chair beside the pool. If you look at it from the right angle, like right here, and you get down on your knees and lay down and look at it from this side, you're not going to see the chair. You're just going to see the edge of the chair here and the edge of the chair here. And that's what an angle is. There's several types of angles. Vertex is where the angle is. That's the vertex. That's the intersection. Just put intersection of two lines. Okay, so there's the vertex. This is the terminal side, and this is the initial side. Think of the initial side as the part that you lay down on the lounge chair beside the pool. The initial side is the side that you lay down on, and the terminal side is the side that flips. Or you could say that this is the back of the pocket knife, and this is the blade of the pocket knife. Open up the pocket knife, it opens up, and right now there's the blade. And you can open it up all the way to 180 degrees. Measure of an angle is usually in degrees. And they're going to show that here in just a second. There's the angle. Now this is a protractor. This is what you used back in grammar school, K through 12. I don't know if they still use them or not, but there's 360 degrees in a circle. There's 180 degrees in this circle. I mean this semicircle. So in a minute it should say 360 degrees. So anyway, that's the makeup of an angle. 90 degrees, and then it goes to 100, 110 if I'm going this way. The other way, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 90, and 100 if I'm going this way. Angles are classified by the degree measure. Right angle is 90 degrees. Acute angle is less than 90 degrees. Write this down. Right angle, 90 degrees. Acute angle, less than 90 degrees. Obtuse angle, greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180. Straight angle has a measure of 180. Now, I show students this. This is what I show students. Because some people think of this rather than what they do. Think of a pocket knife. You got a pocket knife right there. There's the handle. And then the blade, you pull the blade out just a little bit. That is an acute angle, because it's less than 90 degrees. And then you put the blade right here. That's 90 degrees. And then you put the blade right there. That's called obtuse, because it's more than 90 degrees. And then finally extending the knife, that's called straight, 180 degrees. So that's what I tell students to think about. Think of a pocket knife, or you could think of your lounge chair. Fix the chair to look like this. When you fold it up, that's acute. Set it up like this, that's 90. You set it up like this, which most people do, that is obtuse. And then if you just lay it flat out, that's straight. So whether you're talking about a lounge chair or a pocket knife, I can't even spell chair. A lounge chair or a pocket knife, that's an easy way to remember.
Yes, sir.
That's starting to make a little bit of sense now.
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh, how you looking at something? There you go. So go ahead and write that down if you or you can just use the pocket knife analogy. 90 degrees, less than 90 degrees, more than 90 degrees, and 180 degrees. I'm going to give you a second to write that down if you want to write it the fancy way. I just use a pocket knife. Now, let me go ahead and mention to you this. I want you to write over right angle, 90 degrees. I want you to put complementary angle. Complementary angle. And on the 180, I want you to write supplemental angle. I'll write it down on my Word document right quick. Complementary is equal to 90 degrees. Supplementary is equal to 180 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and just complementary is equal to 90 degrees. Supplementary, well, I can't even say it. Supplementary is equal to 180 degrees. And you're going to see that here in just a second. Complementary is 90. Supplementary is 180. Adjacent angles have a common vertex and a common side, but no common interior points. There we go. Complementary angle is equal to 90 degrees. Supplementary angle is equal to 180 degrees. So make sure you remember complementary and supplementary. Because that's two test questions right there. I'm going to show you the examples here in just a minute. But there's two test questions and standardized test questions, complementary angle and supplementary angle. You will see that on a test, if not a standardized test. I did hit record, didn't I? Yes, I did.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in the figure there. So if this angle is 31 degrees, and I'm going to draw this on my board here. So you draw it on your notebook paper, and I'm going to draw it on my board. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to add something on mine. Now, there's mine. I'm going to turn my camera a little bit. Give me a second. I'm going backwards here. There we go. So, if you're given a problem like this, the first thing you should do is say, okay, the complementary angle would be -90 degrees minus 31 degrees, which is equal to what? 59 degrees. So this angle right here is 59 degrees. Because 59 and 31 equals what? 90. Well, let's say I want you to find this angle. And the angle here is 120 degrees. Then how do I find this angle? Somebody tell me how I would find that angle. $180 minus what?
31 degrees.
No, the blue angle's right here. $180 minus what?
180 minus 120.
And that's going to be equal to 60 degrees. So this angle is equal to 60 degrees. Now those are two test questions right there. One is find the green angle. Two, find the peach angle or the pink angle. That's your two test questions. One, you will take away from 90. The other, you will take away from what? 180. This is called the supplemental angle. And this is called the complement. Complemental, whatever you want to call it. Sounds sophisticated, I don't care. Supplemental and complemental. If complemental is a word. Two straight intersect form are called, vertical angles have the same measure. A vertical angle, I'll just see if they show you there. 2 and 4 are vertical angles. Write that down. 2 and 4 are vertical angles because they are on top of one another. 2 is the same angle as 4. Now, write this down because this is like a jigsaw puzzle. When you see a question like this on a test, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. And you have to remember what's 5 and 8 are the same angle. 4 and 1 are the same angle. This is a parallel line, so it's going to intersect at the same angle with these two parallel lines. Okay? So 3 is equal to 2, 6 is equal to 7. Therefore, 3 and 7, 8 and 4, 1 and 5, 6 and 2 are all equal. So if angle 2 was 20 degrees, angle 6 would be 20 degrees. If angle 2 is 20 degrees and angle 3 is 20 degrees, then angle 7 is 20 degrees. You got to look at the angles, they're the same because these are parallel and this is the same angle all the way through. So if these are parallel and this is the same line, then it's cutting it at the same angle here as it is here. Now I know I may be going kind of fast, but it makes common sense that if this line and this line is virtually the same, only spread out a little bit, and this angle stays the same, then therefore this angle is going to be the same angle as that angle. I want you to think about that because it makes sense when you think about it. In vertical angles, this angle is equal to that angle, this angle is equal to this angle. This angle is equal to this angle. This angle is equal to this angle. And that's called the transversal. You're going to see this on a test and a standardized test. Okay, alternate interior, alternate exterior, vertical, those are the names that they're talking about. Now I want you to write this down or take a picture of it, and of course you can always stop the video and make a note of this. Well, I'm going to give you a minute or two to write this down. Alternate interior angles. Think of an armpit. That's an armpit. That's an armpit. Because this is your body, this is your arm. This is your body, this is your arm. It's an armpit. This is alternate exterior angles. So the opposite. And then corresponding angles, the same one, which I was telling you, 1 is equal to 5, 2 is equal to 6, 3 is equal to 7, 4 is equal to 8. So it's kind of important for you to write this down. Now you don't have to write it word for word. You don't have to write the description. All you need to do is highlight 3 and 6. 4 and 5, 2 and 8, 7 and 1. But those aren't, you don't want to use those. You just want to use 3 and 6 and 4 and 5. And then write alternate exterior, draw this, highlight 8 and 1, and 2 and 7. And then corresponding, which means they're on the same, 1 and 5, 3 and 7, 4 and 8, 2 and 6. Okay, y'all able to get that written down? Let me know when you get finished.
I'm finished writing it down, Mr. McClure.
Okay, how about the other two? Mr. Dingler, Mr. Strong?
Mm-hmm.
You got it, yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, how about
Yes, sir. I got it. I got it.
All right. Here is an example of a test question. If it ever gets there. There. Right off, I know that angle 4 is 52 degrees. I know that angle 6 is 52 degrees. And I know that angle 2 is 52 degrees. So I don't care about this over here. I want you to write this on a big sheet of paper. And they give you one angle. And you know that angle 52 is good for there, it's good for 6, and it's good for 2. So 4, 6, and 2. Now you just got to find angle 5. Well, angle 5 is a supplementary angle. I'm going to draw this on a piece of paper so y'all can see it. And this is a test question because this is the kind of question you'll see on my test as well as a standardized test. I'm going to draw it extra big. This is 52. Okay, now I'm just going to leave mine like that because if I use my rules, then I can fill out every one of these. Okay? This angle right here is 52. This is a vertical angle. This one and this one is the same. This one and this one is the same. Well, how did I find this one? Well, this line right here makes up a line, and a line is straight. So that means 180 degrees. Well, if this is 180 degrees, what would this angle right here be? 180 minus what? 52.
52.
There you go. 10 minus 2 is 8. And 17 minus 5 is what, 12? So this angle is 128 degrees. Therefore, this angle is 128 degrees. And this angle is 128 degrees. And this angle is 128 degrees. And that's simple as that. Most people, when they see this problem on a test or homework, they spaz out. But if you study those sheets that I just went over and talk about a straight angle, complementary angle, a vertical angle, and alternate interior corresponding alternate exterior, then you know it's just a piece of cake. And let's see what they got. Looks like I got it right. So that means that it's not difficult. And that's 8.1. How does that make you feel? Feel a little bit better now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, what y'all need to do now is work on 8.1 and go ahead and try to work on 8.2 and 8.3 or 9.1, 9.2. Work on all of it and start sending those homework questions. If you don't start sending them between now and Friday, I'm going to go over 8.2 Friday, and that's all I'm going to do. So, what do y'all think?
Sounds
Y'all got
good.
it? Y'all understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, well, so what I want to do is I'll see y'all Friday, and y'all will be telling me what to go over next. If I don't hear anything from y'all or the others, then I'm going to shut her down after 8.2. All right, y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all Friday.